And now, episode 18, which was initially removed, so we're redoing it, and we don't know why they took it apart, but we're going to redo it, and at least so that we have the story going. So let's begin. Of course, it's brought to you by... The door opens from another section of the boat as Cassio emerges with the dummies. Here, the last one. Cassio holds up a mop stick with a hanger twisted in the form of shoulders wearing Champ's jacket. He uses an empty pottery jar for the head and wearing his father's sailor hat. Cassio makes a nose out of bread and kimchi juice from the pan to make sure everyone has a nose and chin that would help to round the heads, make it look more lifelike, at least from a silhouette point of view. They all look at each other with skeptical admiration as Bailey responds reassuringly, "They look wonderful." Cassio and Bailey go outside and stand by the outside of the boat and begin to stretch out a tarp, as if cleaning it. This will allow them time to examine how convincingly the dummies look from the outside. Champ and Marie carefully position their dummies by the window and move the lantern over too close to enhance the Bailey and Cassio are both pleased and return to the cabin inside and tells them how good it looks. All nervously smile at each other, and Champ says, imitating his brother's voice and character, "Looks like it's showtime. Mom, would you and Cassio mind stepping outside for a few minutes? I'd like to speak privately with Marie, if you don't mind." "Oh, no, not at all, son," replies Bailey. "That's perfect," says Cassio excitedly. "I want to show Grandma something anyway." As Bailey and Cassio both exit the cabin to the deck above, he quickly moves over to the section of the boat and picks something up and hands it to her. "What is this?" asks Bailey. Cassio becomes slightly embarrassed as he says, "It's a gift for you, Grandma." Bailey is surprised and taken aback by such an unexpected generosity. When she looks at it, she's mystified by it and repeats nervously, "What is it?" "It's a necklace made from the shells of the paua, P-A-U-L. My, it's beautiful. It looks handmade." "What is this made of?" asks Bailey as she rolls the necklace in her hand and between her fingers, noticing the smooth, pearl-like feel. "Dad says they are identical to the Haliosis iris that is found in the waters of New Zealand on Earth. They call them the paua, P-A-U-L. Dad says the paua is one species among the hundreds of the abalones. They are called by many names. His favorite is the opal of the sea." "Do you know why?" asks Cassio, enjoying his role as a teacher. Bailey is amused by this imitation of his father, Champ, and decides to play along. "No. Why?" "Because these shells are made of layers of protein and calcium that build together over time and retract in effervescent colors the same way opals do." Bailey is impressed with this young man's intelligence and vocabulary and looks at it for the second time. "It really is quite beautiful, Cassio." "If the paua were on Notlam, like they're here on Earth, they would be my friends too," he says with confidence. No, he says with coyness. And Bailey finds it touching. Their cousins live here on Notlam too. They are a little different from the paua. They are called the Norvel. It's Norvel. When they die, the Nesna bring the dead ones to me so I can make use of them to make things. That's something that's very important to them. Cassio smiles as Bailey's eyes continue to marvel at this young man. Here, let me show you. Cassio reaches for it into his pocket and pulls out a large Norvell shell and says, "This one was partially eaten." Cassio sighs and says, "Poor guy. This one wasn't even very old. He must have been killed when he was hibernating." You see, when the water changes temperature, the Paua hibernate, even as the Norvell do. When this happens, the temperature drops, just like it does in New Zealand on Earth where the Paua live. Did you know that the Paua is different from the Notland's Norvell in another way? Bailey is about to answer no when Cassio continues his teaching seminar with his grandma about the similarities of the Paua and the Norvell. The Paua hate the spiny sea urchin because it eats the same kind of seafood as it does. This little guy was scared of nothing except the nitram. That's Nitram. Nitram? Yeah, nitram. Cassio smiles as if it's a private joke. Let me explain. The powerful mortal enemy on Earth is the starfish. The nitram is identical in many ways to the starfish on Earth. It even kills the Norvell the same way. The starfish and the nitram take one of its arms and lay it over the air holes. The Paua can't breathe and it suffocates. "Oh, that's sad," says Bailey as she again looks closer at the necklace and begins to finger some beautiful flat-looking pearl of the necklace. Those pearls that you have on the necklace, too, come from the stomach of the Norvell, just like the Paua. The speck of dirt causes layers of nacre, and thousands of layers later, the little pearl is formed. "Thank you," responds Bailey as she leans closer to Cassio and surprises him with a little kiss on his forehead. Cassio looks away slightly embarrassed as Bailey holds the necklace out from her neck within her fingertips and gazes at them with pleasure. "Thank you, Cassio. I think I will always cherish these." Bailey's warm smile changes to one of seriousness as she reflects on the whole plan and his role in the mission and warns him, "Be careful, son. Don't take any unnecessary risk after we are gone, okay?" He nods okay, expecting that kind of reminder from his new grandmother. The two move back to the front of the cabin as Cassio busies himself with a little more jobs. The river begins to widen, and Bailey wonders if they anticipated this in the plan. She quickly dismisses it and assumes that they must know this river much better than her, and her concerns may not be justified. She takes one subtle look around and outside, hoping to spot enemies, and is disappointed slightly for not seeing them. Cassio finishes some minor work with a small rope as both return to the inside the cabin. The plan is set as the others prepare for the escape plan in motion. "Okay, you ready, Mom?" asks Marie as she straightens up her clothing that have bunched up on her while practicing her wall climbing. Bailey looks at Champ and says, "Are you ready, Aquaforce?" "All set, timeout," says Champ. Bailey extends her hand to Maria, who reaches out and holds the hand of her husband. Champ turns to the others and says, "Remember, Mom, we only have 5 seconds to make it to the lower deck. Don't let go of Maria's hand no matter what. I'll hold on to her as well as we move through the time bubble of yours unseen. Once we go through the door, we'll go to the back of the boat where that large burlap covering is, and we can duck under it. That should keep us out of sight until it's time for us to go to stage 2. In all likelihood, we should pass right by them and go undetected." Unless, of course, they have radar and they're expecting this, says Champ with a receding concern. Bailey and Marie both look at each other and say nothing. Champ swallows and begins to rub his beard again with anxiety as he prepares himself for action. No matter what happens, Marie, Mom, I want to thank you. I love you both by doing this for me. Beth looks at her daughter and says, "It's okay, son. We're with you, 100%. Right, Marie?" 100%, repeats Marie in solidarity. Bailey reaches and freezes time as they hurry them back to the boat unseen to the canvas covering by the edge of the stern. Champ and Marie are so stunned by the effect that everything in sight seems to be completely motionless that almost forget to keep moving. The birds in the flight, the moving water, and even the small animals on the shoreline, like frozen photographs. Even the common fireflies are frozen in midair as if they were a model hanging from the ceiling with an unseen wire. Murray is struck by the cold, stagnant air, whereas Champ becomes focused on not falling or tripping over his own feet. Stage 1 complete, says Champ quietly as they all remain out of sight. Murray says, "Okay, everybody, hold on to my hand and let's get invisible. Remember, no rush. We have more than 5 seconds. I can hold my invisibility for about 5 minutes, so that should give us plenty of time to move to stage 3. Don't forget to hold hands and do not let go at any time. Remember, when you're holding my hand, you share my cloak of invisibility." "Is everybody okay?" asked Marie. "We're fine, dear, but you may want to keep your voice down. These waters around us will amplify our voices," warns Bailey. "Thanks, Mom. I guess I could be a little bit more. That would be a little more suspicious," admits Marie. Champ whispers and says, "In about 10 seconds, Marie will turn invisible and we'll stand up and step out on the force field resting on the water that I will put in place as Aqua Force. I'll go first and you follow. Don't be afraid. The water will begin to flatten out and look like a clear piece of glass. Don't be alarmed. That's the force field. Stay close, because it's only going to be 6 feet at first, and we're going to move it along the shoreline. I'm going to need to concentrate to enclose us in the watertight force bubble, so please don't talk to me. Once we are out of sight from the boat, then we'll begin to look for Loiso. As planned, Champ's force field totally encompasses them like a large, clear bubble as they move down the river away from the boat invisibly, much like a large beach ball being driven by the wind. Suddenly, a small motorized military boat comes into view, with a man wearing a soldier suit. Using what looks like infrared binoculars, he continues to look over at Cassio's ship, studying it carefully. Champ smiles at himself, knowing that the ruse is working. The water current continues to move as the light from the ship bounces off and reflects on what looks like a small submarine alongside it. They all hold their breath and tighten the grip as they slowly move past them. The trio, still cloaked, approaches the tributary and prepares to exit the main river and off to where they suspect Loiso would be. The river slowly moves them in haunting silence away from them as they begin to breathe easier. The boat and sub are now well out of sight as the water tributaries seem to move carefully amidst almost total darkness, where they are shrouded with high brush and river trees. "Invisible time is almost up, Champ," Murray whispers. "Can we make a break to shore?" "We could, Murray, but there is only one problem," replies Champ with hesitation. "What's that?" asks Murray. "I can't see the shoreline. It's completely dark. All I can see is total darkness." "Don't worry, Champ. I can see a clearing just to your right. Thank God for the power of the eclipse and your ability to see in the darkness, replies Bailey. And my ability to control darkness, too, smugly admits Murray. Bailey exhales while looking down nervously at the turbulent waters moving across their feet. How's that force field of yours holding up, Champ? It's okay. Why? Asked Champ. Oh, I just don't want to get my hair wet if I don't have to, that's all. Bailey replies with levity as she gestures with her head to the water below. And this concludes episode 18. Stay up, stay in touch. And as I said, for some reason, this episode was originally removed. This is redoing, and I'm going to try to. I don't know why it was removed, so I'm hoping this one's going to be saved. So if it gets removed, I'm going to put it back and everything. So that way you have the continued flow of all the episodes. Thank you for listening.